Listen, I'm going to try to deliver this message as fast as possible. For the last 27 years, I would say that my relationship with God has been pretty brutal as far as understanding, coming into understanding and knowing where I was. I would see things that would happen in my children, and I would be frustrated about it, and I would correct them and teach them the proper way to go. I would kind of create the mental, emotional, and ideological guardrails so that they could literally walk a certain path and, not be hurt by coming into dire straits, if you know what that's about. Okay, so because I've said that, I would go to God eventually and learn. I would say, well, why are they doing this? Like, I told them not to do this, and they do it. They go back and they do it again, and then they do this, and I told them to do that, and they understood, but then they went and they did the other. And he said, how do you think I feel? Listen, let me give you a disclaimer for everybody that's listening to this voice right here. This is not a message for people who are sitting up in church who have been programmed. This is not for people who have been programmed. This is not for people who live under classifications of other people's ideologies and thoughts, meaning you've went to an institution and they told you to think this way. This is not for people who have been institutionalized by any type of camaraderie, fraternization, sisterhoods, or movements. This is just somebody who has been a guide and who's been guided. Like I said to you in another video, I said I don't know many people who have lived in and out of a hospital for over 15 years and survived, like the Four Seasons. So you're talking to somebody who learned spirituality, and I learned it the hard way. I didn't learn it from a book. I didn't learn it from a hook. I didn't learn it from a crook. Yes, they came along, but I was able to steer clear and keep them out of the way. So let's get into what God is saying. The Almighty Creator is saying, why not you? This is how I feel. This is how I feel when you do this or when you do that. And so it started putting the blame back on me, the light on me, the mirror on me. And so throughout years, I would learn how to manipulate my ways to become a better person that I needed to be. Meaning that, I don't do this way, I do it that way. I don't go this way, I go that way. I know that this offends God. Some of you, you've learned that you've offended your angels, and you know what it feels like when you've done it. This is for people who are advanced. If you're not on this level, I'm not speaking to you. If you don't want to be here, you can go ahead like the rest of them, and you can log off and you can disrespect this channel. And I have every confidence that you are doing the right thing, because you don't supposed to be here. Go ahead and disrespect the channel and leave. This is for people who are advanced. You have offended your angels, and you know what it feels like. You are on the Titanic ship, and you know it's about to go down. You know you're going to either be somebody in the boat or somebody saving somebody who's inside of the boat, and you're about to freeze. Okay, so for those of us who have learned throughout the years to ask for a lifesaver, a raft, a life raft or something, on an extra sensory perception level, spiritual level, you need that lifesaver, the spiritual lifesaver, to come in and give you strength to save you, right? Okay. You have learned that through your observations of God and the Most High. You've learned this is the way. And throughout those years, you've learned, if you come into, but a lot of times people feel like, well, when I became close to God, or I became this or that, you think it was because you became a Christian. Let me tell you, after 30 years of being in the church, being a minister in the church, when I left the church, it was my time to leave, because I had outgrown the church. Do you understand? So for those of you who know that you went into something and you lost everything. I came to God, I lost everything. You know what I mean? We hear the stories all the time. If you read the book of Matthew, it tells you about people finding the kingdom of heaven and selling everything that they own and purchasing the kingdom of heaven by getting rid of everything that they own, meaning getting rid of all of the bad habits, the things that so easily beset you and get you off of your path of focus and the ability to go inward and listen to the voice of the Most High. There's some deeper things that I would want you to know, but I don't think you're ready for them. I don't think you're ready. Nobody ready to hear about a woman. Nobody ready to hear about the feminine side of spirituality. No, y'all not ready for that, are you? You're not ready to hear about that, are you? If you are, you go ahead and talk in the comments and let me know, and I'll tell you about my experience with the feminine side of spirituality. But let's keep moving. So you come in and you're just like a sheep. You be sheared. You lose everything. And this is not just for people that's coming into church or just coming into spirit. I'm talking about there's different levels of this spirituality thing, that different awakenings that you come under in this life. When I woke up and I realized my genealogy, I realized who I was. I woke up and literally realized visits to the doctor where they told me my bloodline identity, and I forgot for 30 years who I was. I literally went to sleep and was walking around for 30 years and didn't know who I was. When I opened up my eyes one day and realized all of this, and I put my hand in the hand of the man that stilled the waters, the Most High himself, through his Holy Son, I realized that the only gift that I had was knowing that I was dumb, completely dumb, and starting over. And it would take years within this relationship to learn his ways, because his ways is not our ways. Like I say, for those of us who know, we know. We started completely over, from nowhere, from nothing, from the bottom. And I'm talking about losing everything you have and starting over. And this is what he does in order to build you up. This is why a lot of times when people first buy a sheep, they'll shear it and cut everything off and they'll start over. It's a certain type of way that shepherds raise sheep. Every shepherd is not the same. There's a good shepherd. There's a shepherd that'll give his life for a sheep. There's a shepherd that's a hireling. He just comes to work and he runs off at the first sign of trouble. He's like, I ain't doing this. You don't pay me enough. We're not talking about that today. We're talking about the good shepherd. And so within this, I need to say, and I need you to understand that within the sound of my voice, if you're hearing this message, if you feel like you've lost everything or you're dumbed down and you're starting over, that is okay, as long as you're starting over with the Almighty Creator and you're going within yourself and you're meditating and you're listening, you're comforting yourself by quieting your mind and successfully avoiding all of the distractions, because this is the time that the Most High will begin to talk to you and lead you. So you can avoid all of the demonics and the exterior influence of people, all of the bad foods and the things that create you to be so unsuccessful in the ability to hear the voice of the Most High from the inside. This is what I'm talking about today. Unfortunately, we think that being successful is having a lot of money, and we don't listen to people that we think is poor. But if you would read the book of Hermas, you'll find out, and that is not in your Bible, but if you read the book of Hermas and you find it, you will find out that there was a man who was rich and there was a man who was poor, and they were both men of God. But the poor man He was the one who had the effectual, fervent prayers because he was a righteous man. He didn't have all the money and the distractions to lead him in the path of illiteracy, a spiritual illiteracy. He knew he could read between the lines and see. He had the dreams. He had the inclinations. He had the time with the Most High, where the Most High talked to him and walked with him. And the rich man, who was also a man of God, he was just a distribution center. I'm just being honest. He would go to the poor man so that the poor man could pray for him. He would go to the poor man because the poor man had a relationship, a face-to-face at sometimes, or a relationship by which he had all the ability to pray for and get messages back. Some of y'all praying, you don't hear nothing. If you praying and you're not hearing nothing, that's just where you are in your journey. But some of you pray and you wait and you listen and you get answers right then and there. Some of you don't even pray. You just send the energy up. This is who I'm talking to, the people who have already received the advancements. I'm not talking to you who have been programmed by your parents, by your institutions, by whatever it is that wants you to be like me, what I used to be like. When I thought I knew everything, when I thought I had money, when I thought I had the nice car, when I thought I had the future perspective of where I was going in life, when I thought I had the ability to think for myself and make proper adjustments in my life and do what I needed to do. No. Because when God get hold to you, when the Most High get hold to you, he going to share all of that off of you. And he going to start you from the bare bottom. Some of you people call it humiliation ritual. Well, that's what the devil do. He mimic and mirror everything that the Most High does. So yeah, he got it. You go in the entertainment business. Oh yeah, you're going to get humiliated. You're going to get everything that the Most High do, but backwards. Because that's what the devil do. He's a mimicker. He's a mockery. He mimics the Most High. So we're not talking about that completely in entirety. That is another whole bowl of soup. We're going to keep it right here. Right here. Right where we at. Right where we understand. Whether you are starting your journey and you have put your hand in the hand of the man that steals the water, and you going through all kind of tumultuous observations and things that you don't understand, whether you have just started and you in your honeymoon series, because there's a honeymoon period when you first come in. And I'm not talking about people who are just brand new to the idea of walking with God. I'm talking about people that's been successful.